Hello and welcome to Yoga for Hikers. This is a 15-minute yoga routine that I put together for myself after I hiked the Grand Canyon. This really helped me with stretching out my legs, my glutes, my back, my shoulders, my arms, everything that was really involved in, first of all, hiking itself. So, my legs, but then also carrying around a heavy bag all day, a heavy backpack all day. So, what I wanted to do is share this yoga routine with you. Hopefully, that it helps you in your hiking journeys, wherever they may take you. So, for this routine today, you're going to need one or two blocks. Either one is fine. If you don't have blocks, you can certainly use something like a book or even a pillow is going to work as well. And then you're going to want a bolster is as an option. And same thing, you can either use a pillow or a blanket too. So you might even want a blanket if you're a little bit chilly. I'm in Arizona. It's still hot here. So we're going to do this without a blanket today, but if you're a little bit chilly, you might want a blanket. So the first one that we're going to start in today is a seated forward fold. And this is really going to help with your hamstrings, your glutes, your low back, all of the areas that are a little bit tight on you. So what you can do is put your bolster, put a pillow, put a blanket underneath your knees, and we're just going to stretch forward. We're going to gently stretch forward. We're going to keep our toes relaxed. Your toes might be bruised from the downhill. I know mine are. We're not going to do any downward dogs today, simply because of that the tips of your toes get a little bruised. So we're going to hold each pose today for about a minute. And you're just going to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth as you're feeling, wherever you're feeling this particular stretch. I'm feeling this in my hamstrings and my low back. You can also remove the bolster if you'd like. I do find that this helps. Your hamstrings are probably pretty tight. Then we're going to remove the bolster if you have one, the pillow if you have one, and stretch your left leg out in front of you. Place your right ankle on top of your right knee, not on the joint, but above the joint. And we're going to stretch out your hips, your glutes. And if you want to, if you're struggling here, if you're feeling a little tight here, you can put a block underneath your knee if that helps as well. You can also gently, very gently press down on your knee to enhance that stretch. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. You might find as your nervous system relaxes that you might be able to get into the stretch a little bit more. Then we're going to just strengthen or lengthen out our right legs, kick our knees, kick our legs, fill everything out here. And then we're going to do the opposite leg. So bring your left ankle on top of your left knee, not on top of the joint. You can bring it above the joint, and you can gently press down on your knee. If you need to put a block underneath your knee, you can do that as well. I find it's helpful to press down a little bit on my knee while supporting my ankle. Breathing deeply to get deeper into that stretch. You can even, if you feel like it, start a forward fold to enhance that stretch. And then you can unwind here, shake everything out. You're going to come to an easy seated position. And we're going to raise our arms up overhead, extending arms overhead. Oh, that feels so good. Feels good on my lower back. I'm sure it feels good on yours as well. So stretch your arms up overhead. Bring your right hand to your left knee, bringing your left hand behind you here for a seated side stretch. And take the stretch as far as you need to, as far as you feel it. If you'd like to look behind you, you certainly can. You can look down. Wherever it is that you feel like you need that stretch. This is going to be really good for getting into those traps. I know that after I do a long hike, My traps are really sore from, just carrying a heavy backpack. Then come back to center, raise your arms up overhead, and bring your left arm to your right knee, right arm behind you for a side stretch on the other side. Breathing in through your nose. And as your nervous system starts chilling out just a little bit here, you'll be able to get into the stretch just a little bit deeper. Take this wherever you need to. Again, stretching out your traps, your neck, all the areas that are just feeling like they did a lot of work. Now come back to center, raise your arms up overhead, and then bring them down to your sides. Next, we're going to transition into a tabletop position. This might be a little bit sore. It might be your knees might be a little bit tender depending on how you're feeling. So if you need to put your bolster underneath your knees, maybe your blanket underneath your knees. I have the gym padding here, so I've got a nice padded knees here. So come to tabletop, and you can do just cat-cow, back and forth. I've got my toes untucked. You could tuck them, but again, if you've got some bruising on your toe tips, that might be uncomfortable. So it's certainly okay to come here and do a few rounds of cat-cow. And take whatever you need. You might want to stretch out your wrists, your elbows, whatever's needed. Then come back to your tabletop position, raise your right arm up overhead, and we're going to thread the needle. Give yourself a nice stretch in your upper back. You can stretch your left arm out in front of you. You can bring it to your lower back for a bind. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. Breathing deeply. Feeling all that tension just leaving your body. And come back to your tabletop. Give it a couple wiggles through some cat-cow. And raise your left arm up overhead and thread the needle on the other side, stretching out your upper back. This one feels so good to stretch out my upper back, my traps, my shoulders. Everything gets so sore from carrying around that bag. I know the weight is supposed to go on your hips, but it doesn't always work that way. And when you're ready, you can come back up to a tabletop position. And then we're just going to come back into child's pose. So if you are struggling with any knee issues, if you're like me, my knee was very swollen after I hiked the canyon. It's still a little swollen. You can put a block underneath your bum here, or you can put the bolster between your bum and your ankles here. And you can come into your child's pose. And then you can come back up to your tabletop position. We're going to move to our back now. The rest of our poses, we will be doing supine or laying down on our back. You move the block out of the way here. So you're going to come down supine, lay on your back, lift one leg up in the air, lift your left leg or lift your right leg up into the air. Your left leg is straight out in front of you. If you need to, if you're tight, you can certainly bend it. But you can put your left leg straight, and wherever, just gently stretch out your hamstring. If you need to bend the knee, certainly do that. We're trying to stretch our hamstrings here. So whatever you need to do to feel that stretch. Twist your ankles, roll your ankle, circle your ankles, one direction then the other. And then return your right leg to the ground. Take a nice full body stretch. Stretch your feet out behind you, your hands out ahead of you. Nice full body stretch, and bring your left leg up into the air. Right leg is out in front of you. Certainly bend it if you need to as well. And gently place your hands behind your left hamstring. And we're going to stretch that hamstring out. And again, taking your ankle circle, both directions. Whatever's going to feel good for you. Okay, and then return your left leg to the ground. Bring your ankle and foot up towards your on your left side. Raise your right leg up to the sky. And then you're going to place your right ankle over your left knee for a reclined pigeon pose. Supine figure 4. You can very gently press on your knee for an additional stretch. You can also lift your left leg, bringing your hands behind your left hamstring for an additional stretch. And then if your left leg is raised up, you can return it to the ground, shake everything out, windshield wiper your legs. Then you're going to bring your right foot close to your glute, lift your left leg up into the air, bring your left ankle to your right knee for a seated figure 4, supine figure 4. And again, same thing here, you can gently press on your knee. If you'd like to extend the stretch, raise your right leg and place your hands around your hamstring to extend that stretch. Taking ankle circles, whatever it is that you need, whatever feels good for you. You can turn both feet to the ground. Bring the palms of your feet together, the bottoms of your feet together for a supine bound angle or butterfly pose here. This is really going to get your inner thighs, your inner groin area. If that's too intense for you, you can stretch your legs out further in front of you. For more intensity, you're going to bring your feet closer to you. Wherever feels good for you. If you would like, you can put blocks underneath your knees if that's too intense for you. Just roll your head side to side. Releasing that tension from your face, from your jaw, from your eyes. And final resting pose, we're going to come into our Savasana. Spend just a few minutes here relaxing, enjoying the silence, reveling in the accomplishment that we just did. When you're ready, start to wiggle your fingers, your toes. Shake your head side to side. Raise your arms up overhead. Nice full body stretch. Feels so good. And come to a comfortable seated position. And thank you for allowing me to guide you through this post-hike yoga class. I really hope that you found it helpful. And my name is Heather, and I'll see you in our next class.